Hello, it's your financial friend Maggie. Welcome to the Inside Out Money podcast. Okay, hey everyone.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Y'all, this continues to be our most popular episode of the year. It is time for the 2025 annual expense review with all the co-hosts. I feel like we need some sound effects.
Oh my gosh.
Drum roll, please.
A drum roll.
Okay. But I will say, this is going to be a two-part episode. Okay? This has become such a long episode with 4 families that are reviewing expenses. We're going to now make it a two-parter. The first part is going to be where we all go through high-level expenses, our top categories, some of our learnings. And for the second part, we are going to go into some specific comparisons on some categories where we really are trying to focus on more like commodity categories. Not necessarily commodities, but things that are, so not commodities, but things that are more comparable that people often are curious about, like food spend, insurance spend, things like cell phones, medical stuff, things like that. I hope you guys will stick around for part 1, which you're listening to right now, and part 2, which you'll hear next week. And if you're new here, welcome to Inside Out Money. This is a personal finance podcast focused on redefining wealth from the inside out. Most weeks, I speak with a rotating set of co-hosts about a different financial topic to help you improve your financial mindset and tactics. But this week, we have all the co-hosts. And like I said, this is our most popular episode of the year. So we've got co-host Andrew.
We're just rotating more quickly. Like usually we rotate every week, and today we'll be rotating every few minutes.
Exactly. But we got Andrew, Liz, Erica, and then Greg, also known as my husband. We're going to jump into this.
So we all track our expenses. It's really important to kind of know where the money is going. And I think this is the first full year that we're all on Monarch Money, which is what we use for tracking our expenses, which is a great application. A bunch of us used to use Mint, but now we're on Monarch. And we're going to go through kind of each of our high-level expenses and go through what's changed, what the highlights are, and hopefully it can provide some insight into how each of us are managing our monthly and annual budgets and what our goals are.
I will add also, Andrew, we are all paying for Monarch. And for those who are curious, like we are not sponsored by Monarch. We'd love to be sponsored by Monarch, but we're not.
We should be.
We should be. We talk about it a lot. But for those who are curious, the product itself is, right now it's $99 if you pay annually all at once, or it's $14.99 if you pay monthly. They also have a lot of promotions where you get like 50% off your first year. You can get a first month free. So I would definitely like try to always sign up on a promotion. We'll put some referral links in the show notes and we share them on social media sometimes. But as someone who doesn't always love paying a monthly fee for things unless I'm getting enough value from it, I don't mind paying for this anymore, right? Early on, I was like, well, it's really, it was nice that Mint was free, but with a free product, you got to like poorly managed product in many ways. And Monarch, like you get what you pay for. It's a great product. It's very much worth $100 a year. I save more than that just in things that it caught where like I didn't get a refund from a vendor or something else.
Yeah, they're always updating it, adding new features, and it's very well maintained as opposed to Mint, which felt like it had not been updated in a decade.
I think that's because it had not been updated in a decade.
Mint was definitely abandonware. I would also add that often on this podcast, we are saying, here are some things maybe we don't say that you should do, but that we think are a really good idea. This episode is different. I never said I was a role model. We are just giving you an unvarnished look into our actual personal finances. We're not saying this is what you should spend or even that half of our spending is a good idea. Just this is here purely for your entertainment and nosiness.
Mm-hmm. Or I think it's a great thing. This doesn't get talked about very often. So being able to have some insight into the types of things that we're either spending money on or potentially even saving money on, and then the commentary and the thought process of why we kind of each of us made some of these decisions that we make when it comes to our budgets.
Yeah, the roasting is my personal favorite part of the episode. I mean, the thoughtful questions. Thoughtful questions,
Thoughtful questions, right.
Well, and while Liz is right on that, we're not saying you should spend like we spend or making any recommendations. We are recommending that you should track your expenses. And it's such a critical part of any FI journey or traditional retirement journey. If you know what you spend every year, you can figure out how much you need to have saved. And if you have no idea what you spend every year, there's really no way you can figure out what you need for or traditional or early retirement. So super important to track your expenses, at least at a high level. But the more granular you get, the more actionable the information is, and the more you can make helpful changes to reduce your costs if needed.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I think it's also fair to say for all of us, though we're spending at some drastically different levels that you'll see as we get into our expense review, I think we're all spending fairly intentionally and within our means and our financial goals, which I think is often the most important thing, right? So it's just to know, to your point, knowledge is power. And then Liz, to your other point, I sometimes like to say, like, do as we say, not as we do. Because like I may not always be the best role. If you're trying to spend less money, I might not be a great role model for you right now. I've got a lot of great tips for it that I have used at various times in my life, but I'm in a very spendy phase, which we'll get into. Okay, speaking of that, we should jump in. I think,
Let's do it.
Liz, you should go first.
Okay, I will. Guess how much money I spent last year? Total. Counting.
Are we doing Price is Right style rules? Because I'm going to guess $1.
$1. All right. Well, our total spending, and also, sorry, one more caveat before we get to the good stuff, is that we take our housing expenses out because some of us don't have mortgages anymore. They're paid off. Some of us just like to keep that number private, like me, because it's embarrassingly high. And it also just makes it a little bit easier to compare apples to apples to each other. So my total spending in my household of 2 adults, not including a place to live, was $93,456, or that works out to about $7,788 per month, which I will say anything under 100K, I feel pretty happy about.
I think you should be.
I mean,
nicely done.
I felt happy
when
it was
a really good number.
I felt happy when it was over 100K too. So I don't know. I just feel happy about money. All right. My biggest categories in descending order. So when you take out like mortgage, taxes, investing, the money we actually spent and made decisions on, our biggest one, no surprise here, was food. $19,591. That includes groceries, restaurants, takeout, all the things. And we're going to double click into food spending. So don't you worry. We will bring you all of those details. But that works out for the two of us to about $1,632 a month, which is a little bit higher than last year, but I know exactly why that's higher and I feel fine about it. All right. Travel was about $11,000. It works out to $917 a month. We didn't do a ton. We spent a couple weeks in the Southeast early in the year. So we came out and saw Maggie and we did an Inside Out Money meetup. And we spent like a very long weekend, like a week in New York City. And then we went to Washington State for 2 months. So kind of daily living expenses and travel expenses got a little bit blurry there, but our road trip out and back and some of the things that we just had to pay for to get ourselves there is in that travel category. All right. Moving on, our next biggest expense was charity. It was just over $10,000, that's just about where I like to be for the year. Driving, I just get so frustrated because our car is paid off. So our driving costs totaled $5,563. So that's insurance, tolls, parking, charging. We have an electric car. It just seems like it always just seems like way too much money for me. Okay, these next couple ones are boring. Medical, $5,000. It was kind of a quiet year, but doctor's visits, glasses.
Celebrate that.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
God.
A big win this year? What was medical last year for you?
Oh gosh, it was very high. It was, I don't know. We hit our out-of-pocket max last year, which is the very first time I've done that. Turns out a week in the ICU. The good news is you'll hit your out-of-pocket max on your insurance. It's a long story. Okay. Utilities.
A quiet medical year is a good thing, you know?
Oh, seriously. I know. I was still like, how is it $5,000? But then, as it turns out, all those numbers, they add up. Okay, utilities, 6,736. That's like gas, electric, trash, water, internet, streaming, cell phone. Can I tell you though, if I have like one squishy category in my budget, it is internet. Like, you know, when you buy stuff and you use you like pay with your Apple ID, that's all internet. I'm like, that's internet. So sometimes the internet is $50 a month. Sometimes it's $100 a month. And I do not click into that. That is my one place in my finances that I just don't really care.
I do a online, what I call online subs. So like anything that's a subscription goes in one category. And then like Apple Pay, I have typically that goes into my shopping bucket, just because anything that's being done with Apple Pay is typically going to be in the shopping category. So that's one way I handle that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like when I pay with Apple Pay, it just shows up whatever the store was, though. Like if I Apple Pay at Nordstrom, it shows up in Monarch as Nordstrom.
But you can do a rule in Monarch that's like, because it always prefaces it with Apple Pay in it, so you can have a rule that then shuttles that somewhere else.
Oh, all right. Advanced Monarch move. We love that. Okay. Our house cleaning is always kind of a bigger expense for us. $3,400. It works out to about $283 a month, but what it actually is $200 every other week. And I was posting a little bit about that on Instagram. I had a lot of people in my DMs. So we recently downsized from we lived in a very large home and we moved last year into a 1-bedroom apartment, and our house cleaners were going to charge us the same. They were like, yeah, it's the same. It's $220. And I love them so much. But we gathered up all of our courage and we were like, could we pay a little bit less? Could we just pay $200? And they said yes. So
did you ever, just out of curiosity, ask it's 20% the space, but I would just be so curious because they might just be like, oh, we kind of just have a minimum.
I would guess that they have I think that they probably have. I don't even think they're taking new customers. I think they're booked and busy. It's 2 women who run it on their own. And I think it's half of the cost is getting to where you need to go, right? It's the driving time and bringing the materials in and bringing them out. And so, and it's still one kitchen. I guess it's fewer bathrooms, but I don't know. We have used cleaning companies that I have really strongly disliked. The communication was bad. Maybe the quality of the service was bad. And they're so good. I just decided that of all the things on my list, this was not the place to try to optimize for cost. So
yeah, I think that's fair.
Mostly because we both work from home. And so having someone who's good at communicating and we know what day they're going to show up and we know what time they're going to show up, that is something I am happy to pay more for, but maybe in the future we'll look for something else. Good questions. All right, a couple more. Okay, I just did a whole episode on Liz Gets Loaded about this because our gift spending almost doubled this year, and I figured it out. We had a couple of weddings and a couple other things, but I decided in 2025 that my new favorite thing was being the person who sends flowers. And I just started sending flowers someone started a new job, got promoted, lost a job, was in the hospital, whatever it was. It feels a little bit old-fashioned. And Erica, if I'd known you started your own business, I would have sent you flowers oh, congratulations on launching your business. And every time you do it, it doesn't feel like that much money. But we sent flowers 16 times last year, and it's more than $100 a pop. So I gotta reevaluate my gifting budget for this year.
But Liz, I do love this, and I was the recipient of one of those 16 times, and it was such a nice thing. The smile it put on my face when I got it, I was like, that was awesome.
Liz, I actually love that you did that, and I feel like there are ways that you can be, not you, but other people. I'll want to do kind things for people. What's a way that I can do it that's a little more cost effective? If it's someone local, I'll go put together a bouquet because that's something I enjoy. And I have a lot of vases that I'm happy to, pass along and then just drive them and leave them on their front porch myself. But I get that if people don't live near you, that's harder to do.
I think this is something that you enjoy doing. And Andrew is a perfect example of saying how much it, made him happy. But I will say, if you can't afford this, one trick in addition to Erica's point is I know everyone has different feelings about Amazon right now, but Amazon Fresh, And I have had, I think I did this to you once, Erica, like a couple years ago from like something that was happening. But like, you know, you can send them like a bottle of wine, some nice chocolates, and you can sometimes it'll be like 20 or $30. And it's free delivery, and it shows up like that same day. You kind of know the time window, and you know if someone's going to be home. And even if they're not home, it can sit on their front porch. But it is a very cost-effective way to send someone a nice little surprise that sometimes isn't as expensive as flower delivery also. Just a fun tip if people ever want to use that.
Yeah, Maggie, I like that one, even though I don't have Prime anymore. But I actually did that because you had done it for me when people were going through things like maybe they're not going to get to the grocery store. You send them just some snacks and some flowers and stuff, you know, they'll like, and it's very thoughtful. And so yours, that's a good one.
You can even do like fresh fruit and like goldfish. I mean, you could just do stuff for the kids, a little bit of everything, of little picnic. Okay, so you spent a lot on flowers. I think that's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what you're describing too, you probably do through Instagram. And what you're talking about is basically grocery delivery, right? But they can just, anything you have at the grocery store, like flowers, wine, chocolate. Yeah, that's a good idea. We were talking about Monarch Money, and so we all have referral codes to Monarch Money. And of course I talk about it all the time. And so you get these gift cards now, and there was nothing on the list that I wanted a gift card for. So I've been cashing out all mine for like 1-800-Flowers. Because so now Monarch supports now I love them even more. They support my habit. So okay, last couple of things. Christmas. Okay, I'm so curious. My Christmas budget used to be around $1,000 total, and in past years it has ballooned up to about $2,600. I spend a lot of money on cards. We buy cards from Minted. I pay for the extra foil. I pay for the cute envelopes. Like I'm doing all the things. And then I started sending out Liz Gets Loaded cards, and that was another expense. And then I started going like a little bigger with the gifts for people who work on my team at work, plus family gifts. And so anyway, so now I'm up to $2,600. I feel good about it, but I don't know. It's just changed a lot.
We don't even track Christmas separately. We just track gifts, but we do. I mean, even if I like buy a friend dinner, I'll put it under gift, not in my food budget. So, I mean, I don't know what our gifts was, but we don't do a lot of Christmas gifts. And we do Christmas gifts for our kids, and nobody else in our family exchange gifts. I did used to spend money on work people gifts, and I think that is a good thing to be extra generous on.
Well, we spent $2,600 just on gifts to kids. That doesn't include gifts to other people.
But that was throughout the year too, right?
Yeah, that was throughout the year, but a lot of that was
how is that so
birthdays
high?
and Christmas.
It feels really high. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah, ours is almost 3,600. But Liz, I'm seeing a theme where like you like to show affection through gifting people things, yet you are having a hard time reconciling that with your financially minded self. So maybe that's when you need to let go. Because do you feel good when you gift to people?
Yeah. That sounds like a weird brag. I'm like, I'm just so generous. I just love giving things to other people. But it just feels like it grew suddenly. Because again, we've got gifts at $3,200, Christmas at $2,600. I'm like, that is just. I think the thing that I'm thinking, and it's a really wise observation, Erica, is like, is there a way that I can still have this without it just costing so much money? So, like, are there alternatives? Do I need the fancy foil on my Christmas cards? Maybe not.
No, but if you want them, then go for it. You make the money you make to spend it in the way you want to spend it without overanalyzing it. Or maybe I'm projecting. But
no, I love this take. Okay, last category for me. One was clothing. Our clothing was way up from last year, so it was about $2,500 for this year. That works out to about $216 a month. Last year, we only spent $600 total, and that was mostly replacing athletic shoes, socks and underwear, that sort of thing. And this year, half of that was I bought a very fancy dress for my sister's wedding because I got to pick my own dress, and I tried on, I think, 15 or 16 gowns, and it was the only one that didn't make me feel like a lumpy sack of potatoes. And I actually looked in the mirror and I thought, wait, am I like kind of pretty sometimes at certain angles? And so that was worth $1,100 to me to have that feeling in the family photos that are going to be on the wall for the rest of my life. That dress cost about $1,100. So that was pricey.
Well, yeah, excluding that, that's a good number.
Yeah.
the remaining 13 or 1,400.
I like how Greg went to that. I was going to tell you you're beautiful, Liz.
Oh.
And if that $1,100 dress makes you happy, go for it. But also, you are beautiful.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you. I did feel really good that a lot of our clothing shopping was also secondhand. I tried to find the dress for the wedding secondhand, but I couldn't quite make it happen. And in my mind, clothes you buy secondhand are basically free. Like, I almost think they shouldn't count in the budget. I do count them in the budget, but this sweater I got from the thrift store last weekend. I love it. $4.
And you're giving those clothes a second life. It's really, you're doing something for the world. So yeah,
it's really another form of charity and gift.
They should be paying. I actually was going to say that about gifts. I sometimes will put gifts and charity together. I know they're going to different people, right? There's different needs there, but it's in the same spirit of giving to me, the category.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Okay, last category from us, live performances, $2,411, which again is about $200 a month. And I just went and looked at the actual charges in Monarch to see like how many separate events that was. And it was about 25 shows of, lectures, musicals, plays, concerts. And that is a place where I'm always trying to make sure that we prioritize. So I felt really, really good about that this year. I feel like 25 shows for less than $2,500.
Yeah, your
like
per cost,
good.
Your per show cost is like solid there. It's nice.
Yeah.
I feel like we went to like 2 shows for that price.
Right. I think we did fewer sort of big stadium headliner concerts and more, small shows at little theaters. So I felt really happy about that.
Okay. Thank you, Liz.
All right.
Erica.
You're welcome.
How many multipliers of spend were you beyond Liz? Just kidding. I am too.
How many Liz's were you?
How many Liz's were you this year?
Don't ask me things like that, or I'm gonna.
I'm sorry.
I
shouldn't have started with my brain and vision problem.
Yeah, why would you ask me that? I can't even find where I am in the show notes.
Erica, it was a rhetorical question. Let's just hear what you spent this year.
I couldn't even find my spend. That's what was flustering me on top of that.
This sounds like the kind of conversation Maggie and Maddie have, where it's like Maddie walks in the door and the first question is not like it's like a fun, but like anyway, just deja vu.
I'm like, have you done your homework yet? Hi, how are you? It's good to see you. Why are you so late? What have you been doing?
Yeah.
What are you going to be when you grow up? Have you finished your college applications yet? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure every teenager loves that. Okay.
No teenagers like me.
Our total spend, we win / lose, is $192,000.
Solid.
That feels very high.
Nicely done.
However, when I look at the year, like I don't feel that even though it was like a very weird year for our family, I don't feel like we're still investing. Our investments are doing well. I don't feel like this was a crazy year. Like it really didn't feel like we just had some big things like, well, I'll just get to my categories because this was the biggest thing. Our home improvement and landlording category was $34,711. That was new bathroom or bathroom remodel. We had some hardwood floors refinished. And then, guys, the landlord built the deck.
Wow.
No.
That's priceless,
like
Erica.
90% done, but that's priceless. So all these years of building up. So that was like a lot of household stuff in one year for us.
Sorry, Erica. Could you remind us in what year the landlord started building the deck?
So he ripped it up in 2018 and has talked about it until 2025 when he started. We spent about 6 years talking about which decking to get, which I thought we had decided on it in 2018. Anyway, lots of analyzing going into the deck. And then once he did it, it started cruising along. And so we haven't used it because it was finished on December 31st. So just in time for winter. But anyway, it's very exciting. We will have a deck party next year. You're all invited.
Cool.
So without that, without those expenses, like our our overall spend would have been obviously significantly lower, but these were things that just like needed to be done. I remember Andrew at like our 6-month spend review, you were like, no, this is just like what goes into the house. This isn't like it's expenses, but it counts towards like, I forget how you said it, but
capital redistribution.
Yes, that's definitely a term I use regularly.
You're just moving from the savings account into the house value.
Yes. So I feel better about that. And these were things that were like, we just needed to get them done. And what's been nice is that it sort of made us more appreciative of our house and looking at other things that we could do so that like we don't need to keep putting it off to save money, because what does that do? Like you're investing in your house. And so anyway, we've got some other things we want to work on for this year. But so that was our top category. Number 2 was travel and vacation, which is $22,354 US.
Dollars?
We went
dollars. Okay.
Dollars. Just FYI, everyone. We went to Belize for spring break. The landlord and the boy one went to Japan for a school trip. We did Oregon coast, Florida. I did a couple trips to Atlanta. A lot of those were with like miles and stuff, but you know, you still spend differently. Oh yeah, we also went to Central Oregon. Anyway, so we did a lot of travel and that all added up. And then I took Maggie's suggestion from one of the last recordings we did to like include what you spend while you're on that trip into your vacation budget, because you do spend differently, which I thought was a really good point. So I made a point of kind of reallocating some of the spend so that we can track it within that category. Which made it high.
I'm when we were going on a trip, I'm like, oh, I need new sunglasses. That goes in the travel budget. Oh, new swimsuit. Like, anything.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but I like this. I like this approach too. Okay. Number 3 category for spend for us is groceries. It's $18,703. We joined Costco this year. And,
what up? Welcome to the club.
I mean, Liz, you were
welcome
like,
to the club.
I know. It's the problem, the good and the bad is that like there are 2 Costcos. They're both like 20 to 25 minutes away from me. So it is not a convenient situation. So when I go, I'm like playing chicken with myself for like how I go. And I'm like, everyone behind me in line is just like, God damn, woman, like you just bought out the whole store. It's because I go like every few months and I like wait till we get through everything. And then it's like, I was playing with Maggie and Liz when I first started, like, guess what this haul is? And they're like, oh, I couldn't see the alcohol buried under there. You didn't show us the bottom cart. And it's always like double what they guess. So that like that was a good and a bad thing. Like I went a little nuts at the beginning, just like buying everything. But also now that I've gotten like what our staples are, they're really helpful because we have prepared meals on hand. So our regular just running to the grocery store isn't as frequent because like we're always on the go with kids. So we've just kind of loosened up. Like we're not making meals from scratch anymore. We just need something we can throw in and like have it be ready, but better than fast food. All right. Next category, number 4 is restaurants and bars. And that is also high, but it's $17,693. I think a lot of that might still be that like some of our vacation eating out wasn't accounted for necessarily. But we do family dinner night once a week and we take turns where we eat out and the kids love sushi, which is just horrible that that's what our kids are into, but because that's a very expensive kids thing.
It's very Gen Z. Apparently. Yeah. Gen Z loves sushi and it's expensive.
Yeah. And our kids go to a Japanese school. So like, obviously that just is, they're like, oh, well, no, we know the good places to go, but that's okay. Next category is kids activities, which is $17,119. We have 5 sports played between our 2 kids. Our son is on a club basketball team, which is, I think all club teams are a racket, but also like our kids are in baseball and softball and like you grow out of your gear pretty quickly. So it's almost like every year we're trading up. And then because we're in the same league with other people, we can't, and my daughter's like the taller one. She can't get hand-me-downs. She's giving hand-me-downs. But that also includes summer camps, which are just ridiculously expensive, swim lessons after school. So it's a year's worth of like just child fees.
Yeah, that's a lot. $1,500 a month. That's like a very significant. Maggie, I feel like you and Andrew have talked about, your kids get out of daycare and you feel like you're gonna have all this extra money.
Yeah, no,
No, it
kids are
just shifts.
expensive and sports are expensive. I mean, ours is comparable to yours, Erica, in the sense that a lot of our kids' activities we're splitting with an ex. So even though ours is probably about half as much as yours, but if we were paying for all of it, it would be about double. It would be about what yours is. So not that far off. It just adds up.
Yeah. I mean, kids sports, people have really figured out how to monetize this, and it's just getting more and more expensive. And I don't know. And it's like more competitive. This is like a whole separate topic, but
Yeah.
like we used to just play soccer through the Y. And what was that, like
Mhm.
$50 to sign up? I don't
Yeah.
know. But like nothing's that cheap anymore, even when we pay through like our Parks and Rec team. But, I've got a whole love for kids sports on its own. So if that's where our money's going, that's fine.
I think Maggie's suggesting that you divorce the landlord and bring some new co-parents into the formula.
I mean, yeah,
That was not my suggestion. In the end, that's going to cost you more.
yeah,
I do think it is more affordable to stay married.
yeah,
That sounds.
yeah. You guys worked out. I mean, I'm hoping that we, our plan is to do that. But
Now that the deck's done,
Okay,
I feel
I'm gonna
the
move on.
chances have improved.
I think his chances, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one is charity. Just kind of close to Liz, but it's 9,317. We do monthly donations to our favorite causes, and then like anytime there's like a GoFundMe or something for people I know, or like different school things, like I don't think twice about it. That's one where I want to just be able to contribute. Next one is shopping, $8,907. Too much Amazon is in there, given that we canceled Prime. I'll just leave it at that. Number 8 is car payment, $7,626. We paid off our main family car that's 10 years old. And then our 27-year-old car died last year. So we started leasing our EV.
All right.
So that's where all I know. But we donated it to the Humane Society and it was sold for $1,200.
Oh.
So she got a little last send off.
Did you get an EV9? Am I remembering that right?
I did.
Everyone I
yes.
know got an EV9 in the last year and they
love it. Love it. Yeah. So like, yeah, we have a car payment now, which I don't love, but like it's just so convenient for our family. We love the car. Like it's just such a better situation. So it's just one of those things that's going to happen at some point. Yes, Maggie, I see you have your hand up.
I'm just curious, do you have a lease? You wrote lease, but did you just mean monthly payment or are you actually leasing it?
We're leasing it.
Okay. I was just curious.
We are leasing it because we were still able to get the tax incentive. And the only way to get the tax incentive was through leasing because it's considered a fleet vehicle.
Oh, okay. I knew the landlord would have run the numbers on whether
he had a color-coded spreadsheet.
Yeah, the way it works is you
Leasing
you get the full federal tax credit on the lease.
What's interesting though is leasing is something a decade ago used to be like a big faux pas. Like it was never a better financial move. But now, like we were talking to someone at Camp 5, Felipe, and he's purposely been leasing EVs for the same kind of system that you can do and that it can be more cost effective.
It was the tax incentive went away. The federal tax incentive went away, I think in September or October of 2025. And we did this in November of 24. And we knew it was on the verge of going away. So we're like, let's lease it. It gives us a little more understanding of like what the EV battery situation will be like at the end of its lease life. Maybe we keep it, maybe not. But it gives us options. But that was the only way that we could incentivize or get the tax incentive was through leasing. I don't think we would lease otherwise. Like it just doesn't seem, I don't know. Like without that, I don't think it would have made much financial sense.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. All right. Next one is entertainment, $7,397. We do a lot of movies, concerts, sporting events. kids' activities like ice skating, roller skating. Those are just top of mind from winter break. But yeah, we like to go do stuff. We like to get out and about. And then the last category is clothing, which is $5,971.
I like that you wrote, people got to wear clothes.
I mean, I can't justify why we spent that much. Like, we got 4 kids growing a ton, and we shop secondhand. We also shop just like whatever they need, you know, like I don't say whatever they need, like we just go buy them stuff, but like they're growing kids.
Yeah.
And they're constantly growing out of their clothes.
Well, I like just the way you wrote it. Like, wearing clothes, not just a good idea. It's the law.
It's a little bit of a, like, you have to do it these days.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, I know that your total was on the high side, but like, it sounds like as you go through line by line, again, nothing felt, you were spending intentionally and you feel good about these numbers, and you're putting dollars where they're bringing value to you and your family.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, the big thing for me when I like go through this and look at this is like, yes, I lost my job at the beginning of the year, and I was like excited about figuring out how to kind of save money, which I feel like we did in some ways. Like, I do feel like even though our restaurant and bar tab, geez, total is really high, like I do feel like we were intentional about how we went out. Like, we might have a big night out with friends at like a nice restaurant, like that could be, Andrew, I feel like this is going to like freak you out, like a $500 meal per couple. But like, those are like once in a while things where it's like, this is the best restaurant, you know, in town. We want to go. We're going to have a nice meal with our friends. This is how we enjoy spending it, versus like, we're not always driving through fast food with our kids. You know, I don't feel like it was just a total waste, where last year it definitely felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge.
That's good.
Erica, you're also not putting that $500 meal on a credit card where you're paying 20% interest on it. You can afford it. It's not dramatically changing financial goals you and your family are trying to get to. It's within a very, you know, intentional spend plan. So, I mean, I'm not just saying that to like rationalize higher spending, because I'll say the same when we get to ours, but it works for you and it's working. So it is personal finance. It's, you feel good about it, and that's all that matters. And I think the fact that you can measure it is very important.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
thanks, Maggie. Yeah.
Especially what you just said of, okay, maybe in 2024 it was more, oh, we didn't plan, we got to hit a drive-through, versus this year taking that same money and spending it on, I mean, you'll remember that dinner with your friends. That's like going to be something you'll get memory dividends on, to quote Bill Perkins.
Yeah.
That feels like such a big difference. And even just the way that I kind of said before we actually started recording, but like the way that you outlined your expenses in the show notes and the way you're talking about them this year, like, I don't know, there's just like more of a sense of empowerment and ownership that you seem to have.
Yeah.
I would be curious if even you listened to like last year's episode, if you noticed.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. No, I'll have to go back and listen, but thank you for that. And I will say, with the thing for the food, like good fine dining, I shouldn't say fine dining, but like food is how the landlord likes to invest his money. Like, he would love to just go and have like a 32 course prefix meal or something. Like, he doesn't care about the cost if it's going to be like the best food in the world, the experience. Like, that is where he's happy to spend money there, and then like not buy new clothes for 2 years.
I remember, Erica, last year you kept joking that you were at the kids' table, but this year not only are you at the adults' table, but you're at the $500 adults' table. So congrats.
Ooh, thanks, y'all. Yeah, I was at the kids' table. I do think that was 2 years ago when I was wearing that tie-dyed cat sweatshirt, which just really tracks.
Okay, we're going to keep us rolling. Andrew, where are you at for 2025?
All right, we were at 94,300, excluding any housing expenses. We've paid off our mortgage, and then also this is excluding any of the business expenses, which is basically all of my cycling stuff is business expenses as I'm coaching now. All right, so
does that mean, I'm sorry, I tried to sit on my hands and not ask a question 1 second in, but does that mean if you just like buy yourself a new bike helmet, you can write it off as a business expense? Because that's pretty nice.
Yeah, everything that is cycling related is part of my is part of my business.
Nice. I like it.
All right. So first category is the biggest one, health insurance, almost 13,900. And that was just for 6 months. This is the most painful aspect of the second chapter budget here. We project our 2026 cost will be $26,700 for health insurance, which just blows my mind. I went back and looked. We were paying when I was employed. I was paying $600 a month as what my contribution to it was. So definitely big increase on that, because now we're paying the employer portion as well with Cobra.
Congratulations on early retiring, Andrew.
Thank you.
What's tricky about that number is we should do an episode on this at some point, but there's definitely, I'm not going to verbalize this well, but there's a middle ground where it's like, if you just earn an extra $10,000 in income, all that just goes to medical expenses, right? And so there is a point where it's like, if you're going to earn money in retirement, you want it to be enough that it warrants the time and energy.
It's got to be meaningful to offset.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Second category, groceries, 12,600. This has been pretty close in line. It's definitely up a little bit, but given where food prices are, I'm actually pretty happy with this. So next up, property taxes, 10,200, very in line with where it's been. That's a big one. And then travel and vacation, 8,100. We did 3 trips. So 3 family trips, spring break to Florida, a week over July 4th in Florida. And then we went to Universal Studios for 4 days for fall break.
In Florida.
In Florida. Yeah. So all 3 trips to Florida. And then this doesn't count any of my travel for the bike racing. So I did lots of travel on the bike racing side.
To Florida or to other places?
That was everywhere. Wisconsin, Australia, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Yeah, lots of travel on the bike racing side.
So all that is a write-off?
Correct. Yes.
Erica, I think you need to add some travel to your business. I think you need to.
One of my Atlanta trips was a write-off, but I'm still learning, which we'll get to, but that's one of my 2026 finance goals. But maybe, Andrew, you're going to be getting a lot more text from me with questions.
You need to come visit your website manager in Atlanta. So that's
I know.
Spend enough time with me on that trip and, we're good. We just have to talk about work more often while you're here.
I know.
All right. Next category is child activities. That was 5,900, and about 5,000 of that is just for swimming. So both kids do year-round swim. We pay $500 a month for that. And then there's swim meets and relatively small on the equipment side. So listen to Erica, you talk about your other sports. There are a lot of sports that are a lot more expensive than swimming. So I feel fortunate that's the passion they've found.
Yeah, Erica, do you think your kids would like swimming?
We've tried. I was on swim team in high school, so I would love it if they did it. Yeah. They've done swim lessons. They're just, I don't know. They're not there yet, but yeah, goggles. I'll buy my kids what's the max on goggles? $30?
Yeah.
We were looking at baseball bats and gloves the other day because I got a softball glove for Christmas because I'm really excited because I help out with my daughter now. And but I have small hands, so I was looking at the kids' gloves and they range from $50 to $250. And helmets are $250 if you want the good ones. Bats can get crazy up there.
Just our uniform fee on volleyball is $400 something. That's just for the uniform kit
for some tiny ass shorts and some spandex.
Yeah, and they barely cover your butt. Yeah, they're very small.
My cycling shorts are about $300.
Do you have
those
the
have a diaper built into them?
Padding?
Yeah. They're very expensive.
Okay. But that makes sense.
But you're also an award, you're the fastest cyclist your age.
Yeah, you've earned it. You're a literal world champ.
You get to have $300 shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, do you have sponsors? No, I'm just.
Yes.
Okay.
So I do have some sponsors. A lot of the travel and a lot of the food not food. A lot of the race registrations and the travel and some equipment is covered.
I would love. Okay. I know every time we get together, we come up with like 17 more episode ideas, but I would love a whole breakdown on like the economics of.
Yeah,
this.
It's definitely not money making. It's definitely the expense side is much larger than the sponsorship support.
But you're able to offset
what I'm doing.
You're able to offset what would otherwise be an incredibly expensive. I don't like to use the word hobby for what you're doing, but sport, right?
Yeah, it's a hobby. Okay, next up is gifts, $5,600. School donations, family 529 donations are in there, and then home insurance $3,700. Nothing really exciting about that. Dentist $2,800. So this is significantly higher than what we've typically been. My daughter got braces, so that's the start of that. I think we'll probably spend somewhere close to that again this year and next year for the dental work.
Why can't
Target?
Doesn't it feel like the government should pay for braces?
I mean, I don't know if maybe. Yeah, I'd love for them to pay for my daughter's braces. Absolutely.
Walk me through that logic, Liz. I think the government should pay for club volleyball and baseball too. Swimming.
Well, that's a choice. You don't really have a choice when it comes to braces. Maybe I just think it should be covered by your health insurance, and I think your health insurance should be paid for by the government. So
yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to see my $27,000 health insurance be supported by the government next year.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Target. So $2,400 at Target. Definitely, we tried to spend less at Target this year. Liz, I know you were very supportive of that, and there's just certain kid stuff, school supplies that just we didn't buy from a lot of that stuff from Amazon, and we bought more of it from Target, but it's hard to get. You can't get all that stuff at Costco.
Yeah, I think I tried to like move a lot of things maybe I was buying on Amazon or Target over to Costco, but I say this is literally like the 17th time I've said this week. We don't have kids, so we are playing the game on easy mode. Like life is much simpler with two humans who are both earning income.
Yeah, the school supplies thing is that's where a lot of the Target purchase go. And there is some food in Target as well, but I break out basically grocery stores, Kroger and Lidl and Costco. All three of those go directly into the groceries bucket. And if I buy anything big at Costco that's not groceries, I'll pull that out separately. And then we have Target, Walmart, and Amazon are three separate categories on their own that we track independently. And then we have my last bucket, which is shopping, and that was $2,300, and that's the catch-all for everything else that doesn't have a home in a category. So all the other stores that we would be buying things from that quote are in the shopping category.
That makes sense. And Greg, I want to get your thought on this too. But Andrew, have you tried in Monarch? They said they have a new feature where you can take a picture of your receipt and it'll break out the different items. So if you go to Costco and you buy socks and milk and AirPods, it'll say, okay, this much is clothing, this much is groceries, this much is electronics.
Yeah, I haven't I saw it. Actually, a developer released a plugin maybe 4 or 5 months ago on Monarch that would do this specifically for Costco, because Costco's receipts are stored online. And so he wrote something that could pull all of your historical stuff out of Costco and recategorize it. And then Monarch released the extension, Liz, that you're talking, or the feature that you're talking about with the receipt upload. I have not had a chance to play around with it yet, but I could see that being useful. But also, I'm at the point now where I'm less as, I don't know what's the right word, motivated to do a particular or to do a lot of the granular things. I've actually trying to pull things up a little bit versus going deeper on the level. So that's just kind of where I am.
Yeah, at your spend level, Andrew, I'm not sure the juice is worth the squeeze, you know?
That's exactly what I've kind of come to over the past couple of years, to say that, is my $45 target spend, am I worrying about, is the $3 toothpaste going into the right category, and is the bag of flour for $3 going into groceries correctly? I've become less concerned with that now.
That makes sense.
All right, so that's our top 10.
Okay, we're going to move to Maggie and Greg. And we're going to let Greg do it because Greg does 99% of the tracking at Monarch in our household. He just asks me questions, but he's always like typing things in.
So our total expenses were right up there with Erica's at $189,000.
Woo!
Yeah, it was a big one.
Nicely done.
I'm in good company.
You know what I find so interesting is that Liz and I were within $1,000 of each other, and then Maggie, Greg, and Erica were within $3,000 of each other.
That's true.
It's
but you also had like the health insurance and the private. You actually spent a lot less, and you have.
They're all hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all hard to compare because, I don't know, Erica, you had your.
You had your sunroom.
We have our sunroom in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we mentioned in the 6-month review, 46,000 of that was the renovation of our sunroom. So, if you looked at, spend excluding the sunroom, that would be 144,000, which feels a little more in line, but still almost 10,000 more than we spent the prior year. So, still, a high spend rate. If we look by category, home was the biggest category at 80,600. Over half of that was the sunroom. We put in new sod. Real estate taxes were in there. We did some home improvement projects like putting in a driveway extension and water filtration and some other projects.
I bought a lot of rocks this year. I like to spend thousands of dollars to have tons of rocks delivered, and then I like to distribute them throughout the yard. It's one of my retirement hobbies.
They're worth their weight in stones, literally. Next biggest category was travel, which is never one that I'm upset to see. I mean, we always want to travel wisely, but we love travel. So we were almost 23,000 on that. Accommodations was the biggest chunk of that, right at 9,000. And then food, since we do include our travel food in our travel budget. Third was medical. That includes insurance of 11,000. That's a rough estimate. It'll depend on our final income, but I think it's going to be somewhere right around there. Our next largest in medical was dental. So that was a big one. I got Invisalign braces this year, which was, 6,000 or 7,000.
I would just like to note, everyone is officially done with braces in our household now. So in 2026, we shall have no more. All 5 people in our house have now had braces or Invisalign.
Yeah, and medical will be an interesting one to watch next year because we went to a high deductible plan. So medical insurance may be down a little. We will get less of a subsidy, but if we do need any medical care, it will be fully out of pocket for the most part. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. Number 4 was food and dining. That's inclusive of restaurants and groceries. That came in at just under 20,000. Number 5 was
just a teaser. You'll get to hear our food breakdown in part 2 of this episode. So
yeah, don't go anywhere.
If you weren't already excited, stay tuned.
And even by merchant, we'll talk a little bit about merchant spending. So it'll get really exciting. Our next category was kids. That was at 17,600. Activities was the biggest bucket in there at 8,600. As previously mentioned, kids club sports are very expensive, along with all the other stuff our active teenagers are doing. Kids clothes were 3,000, and then gifts, 2 kids were 2,600. Next category was personal care. That was at 7,000. Fitness was the biggest category within that at 2,800.
Yeah, I did 3 months of a personal trainer. That was almost I don't know, 12 to 13, maybe $1,400. It was a nice trial, but that was expensive. We did some strength training sessions for the kids at a gym. So we spent a lot on that. And then I also bought a used Peloton at the end of the year, which I'm really excited about. I'm on like an 18-day streak, y'all. Since the day I bought it, haven't missed a day.
What up? High five.
Nicely done. And Maggie, I am expecting you to hire me for cycling coaching next year, so you can put that in the budget for 2026.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You've been replaced by Matt Wilpers.
Somehow it's a write-off. Somehow.
And lastly, within personal care was supplements and vitamins, which we spent a whopping $1,500 on. That was a little more than I would have expected, but we do take a range of vitamins, creatine.
What is that? I don't spend. Can you double click on that one? I do not spend $1,500 a year on supplements and vitamins.
I was curious when I saw it in the show notes. I'm not judgmental, just curious.
Oh yeah, no, me too. I'm curious, and it's my money, Liz.
I put that into groceries. So like multivitamin, like because
I separate it out because it's like health. We talk about it a lot. It doesn't really matter what category you put it in, but
yeah. But now I'm just curious because we buy like multivitamins, magnesium, creatine, and
So while Greg is looking it up, I will tell you we were just at Camp FI last weekend, and there was like an awesome breakout on what Stephen kept calling women's health, and we were like, Stephen, just say it. It's called menopause. And there was basically a conversation on menopause, one of the breakout sessions, and it was great. But I learned about the app called Suppco, which is SUPPCO.
Oh.
You basically, every like vitamin and supplement that I've been taking that I get, often at like Costco or Sam's or Walgreens, was very poorly rated and had some like crazy things in them. And so I recently just like am basically going to like either throw them away or put them on buy nothing. And I just bought some like more expensive. I've just convinced myself I'm going to spend more on this stuff because I don't know if I believe, all of it. But at the same time, I'm like, my mantra this year is my body is not a trash can. So, so that's why I'm like, I don't even know how we spent so much on that when that's going down.
Well,
it's Greg's Flintstone vitamin addiction.
It is. I pop those things a lot, and I'm slightly addicted.
Protein.
It's got green powders, creatine, vitamins,
protein powder,
fish oil. Doesn't have protein powder. That's in groceries, but turmeric, just all the various supplements, and it's like a bunch of small things that just kind of add up. Let me see if there's like any big ones in here. Let me kind of.
I mean, now that I think about it more, it doesn't seem that bonkers. Again, I feel like I buy this magnesium powder, multivitamins, creatine. It's probably less than $100 a month, but like, I don't know. That actually doesn't seem that bonkers when I think about it.
But he did just discover one thing.
Yeah, I did have almost $400 in this Neurohacker Collective, this thing that was supposed to kill off zombie cells in your body. I don't know. I saw it on social media.
I can't tell if you're joking or being serious.
No, this is true. They said it was one of the main keys to longevity, and I took it for 4 months. And yeah, well, I don't know. We can sidebar
scam.
this, but yeah. So that was expensive, and I did stop taking that after a few months. So
this is actually a perfect example of why we have separate finances, because I don't even know or care about that. No, I'm being serious. I'm like, oh, cool. If you want to buy something to kill zombie cells. Okay, let's move on. Greg, what's next?
I have a couple follow-up questions, but I feel like you're really cruising through and I haven't been wanting to interrupt you. Can you recap where you traveled this year? Because airfare at $2,000 for a family of 5. I'm like, where did you fly from Atlanta to Birmingham?
No, we used a lot of mileage. We used a lot of miles for airfare, which we don't have for accommodations. So we went to Aruba. We went to Iceland for 2 weeks with the kids. We went to Aruba for a week with just us. And that was almost all on mileage and points.
A companion pass actually for Aruba, but yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to some other places. I can't remember where. We had a spring break beach condo for.
I was driving though. So yeah,
really, so airfare was just all.
Yeah, 2 trips, and one of which was companion pass, the other was miles. So that was helpful.
Okay. That makes sense.
Good question though.
Can I ask you also about I think this is my last question for now, but do you love your sunroom? Because Maggie keeps telling me about it, and I think I need to schedule an expensible Inside Out Money trip to come out and record some podcasts in the sunroom.
So that's a great question. We do really love it. I'm very happy with it. We often are like, oh, I got in a phase where I'd like go down there in the mornings and have coffee, and I really liked it. We do not use it as often. Our kids use it all the time. It is the hangout space for the kids. They can close the door. They're all still like enclosable. I mean, one of our kids even like hangs out in there with her boyfriend. The room's full of windows, so I love it. Like, there's no hiding in there.
I love that.
But the kids hang out. They've had a ton of sleepovers. In terms of like memory dividends, that money was incredibly well spent, and it gave us a new hangout spot that was just like a little bit more separated. And we got 3 kids. Sometimes the kids have like 5 or 6 friends over for a sleepover, sometimes more at a time. One kid has that over. And so it gives them all a place to sleep. They can all sleep in that one room. They can sleep. There's a huge couch. They put down air mattresses, and they've had a lot of fun, like friend nights in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel happy
It's a great room.
You didn't do like the bigger remodel that you were thinking about?
Good question, Liz. Yes, I very much do. And you helped us to ask some questions in a way where when someone else, I mean, Greg was already where you were, but like where you just need someone else to be like, why would you do, yeah, I'm very happy we did not do the bigger thing. It was just perfect and just enough.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz, for your help in that decision.
Greg's like, thank you, Liz, for helping talk Maggie out of that thing I didn't want to do.
Our next category was auto. That includes auto insurance of $2,500, repairs and maintenance of $2,000, which included new tires, and then other miscellaneous auto expenses, full self-driving being the biggest one of those, which is an expense, but it's something when we do use it, we really value it on road trips. And
it legit saved our life on the way home from Camp Fi. Melissa from Traveling to Retirement on Instagram can attest to it. Like this truck like ran us off the road, and it responded in a way that was way faster than what we would have.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Priceless.
All right.
Next category.
Do you turn it on? Like, is it something you can turn on when you want it and turn off when you don't want it? Or do you have to, how does that work?
Yeah, you can buy it all up front for like $8,000 to get it lifetime, or you can just pay $100 a month and you can turn it on and off whenever you want. So I'll turn it on when I have like some trips coming up, and sometimes I'll turn it off when we don't. And
I keep it on most of the time, but I also it's helpful when I do Uber driving, and then I can expense a portion of it. Usually, pretty much half is kind of where my miles split. So half of it goes to my Uber business. So that this only includes Maggie's self-driving and then half of mine. And then next category, gifts and donations. That includes obviously any charity donations, political donations, and gifts other than to our kids, which is in the kid category. Our number 9 category was entertainment at $3,100. That is just a lot of miscellaneous expenses like pool dues, concerts, Vibe Game, which is the professional volleyball team here in Atlanta, and then our streaming, which is only $500. So that was one to feel good about. Clothing and shoes category number 10, $2,500. That was down almost $2,000 from the previous year. So that was a pretty good spend rate. And majority of that was Maggie, but I did have some expense in there as well. So that is our top 10.
okay.
Yeah, that was very kind of you to say a majority of it was Maggie's and not you had the actual breakout in the show notes, so we can see that $2,000 was Maggie and $500 was Greg. You're like,
well, what I will say, and this is Maggie's generosity, is 500 of that Greg, even though it's for me, probably half of that Maggie bought me. When we go to REI, she'll be like, "Oh, I want to buy you some pants."
I bought him a quarter zip. I was
did.
like, you need this nice quarter zip, babe. I bought him a quarter zip and then a matcha.
She just likes to keep you looking good for her so she can show you off.
But not too good, you know? Okay. To wrap up this episode, we are going to each go through and just share overall how we're feeling about our spend, if we haven't already said it, and what, if any, do we have any things we want to focus on in 2026 in terms of our expenses? We'll go back in order. Liz, how you feeling?
I Feeling good as hell. Sorry, just the way you said it put Lizzo directly
Feeling
into my head.
good as hell.
Exactly. You're like, Liz, how you feeling? Okay, Andrew touched on this earlier, but one of my big goals I felt so good about was I really wanted to cut down on Amazon spending and Target spending. Our Amazon spending was down 90%. Our Target spending went down 98%. I did a whole episode of that about that on Let's Get Loaded if you want to know like what that last 2% was that I spent at Target. But and way more at Costco. Me and Erica are just trying to keep Costco in business on our own. My Costco spending was up 50%. But in terms of goals, I really got to roll over. Between the two of us, we have something like 18 retirement accounts, HSAs, 401ks, all over. Because when you have a lot of employers and you just never get around to it, there's just a lot. I don't feel sad. Like I don't feel there's not big fees on any of them. It's fine. But I just think we know where they all are, but I really do need to consolidate them. I was feeling fine about that until Andrew just like started laughing.
My head's kind of explode. Yeah, I'm so stressed.
It stresses me out, and
so
I'm not even
out.
like you guys about that. Like all mine's in one place. I have one HSA that hasn't rolled over, and it's like eating away at me.
It'll take you like an hour to do all those. It's such a quick process.
I do not
you get it rolling. I do.
I don't think that.
Not if you have 18. It's not going to take an hour. But
the question, Liz, are you going to roll them all into your current employer?
Pull them into Fidelity. It's like 6 clicks and an account statement, and you're done. It does not take a long time.
Why would you? This can be offline, but why would you put them in your current employer? I think 401ks always charge more fees than IRAs. I think, right? Or am I off base?
Well, I don't want. Well, two things. One, I don't want money in a traditional IRA because it'll keep me from being able to do the backdoor IRA without running into the pro rata rule. And then the second reason is actually 401k fees. I think they've come a long way. I feel like there's kind of this conventional wisdom that their fees are so expensive, but mine are pretty reasonable. I mean, an IRA is for sure cheaper, but all of my expense ratios are like, the expense ratios are about the same. And then I feel like you pay something like $100 or $200 a year just because 401ks are a lot more regulated than IRAs, which is why they're more expensive. Like your employer has to do a big audit every year, that kind of thing. So cost-wise, it's not the same. Yeah. I thought about that though. I mean, what I actually kind of want to do is go through and look at all of them and figure out which one actually is the cheapest. Because I don't feel bad having my previous employer. That's probably my biggest one. I probably have like $400,000 or $500,000 sitting in my 401k there. But the fees are fine. Like, you know, they're about the same as where I am now. So there's no big rush for me to move it, but it's probably worth looking at that one and my current one to see which one actually is the better deal overall, if there's any hidden fees or anything. Here's my last thing. I thought it'd be fun, but I think I'm the only one who did it, to look at the goals that we had for last year. And last year I said I needed to buy new pants. And this year I bought new pants. So
congratulations, Liz.
Thank you, Erica.
Congratulations.
I now own jeans that fit my body and go all the way to the ground.
Promises made, promises kept, as our current administration likes to say.
I'm making my jeans wardrobe great again. Anyways. All right. Popcorn Andrew. Or Erica. Erica was next. Sorry.
Erica's next.
Okay, so for my goals for 2026, they're more related to my new business I started. Like I have to figure out how to do taxes. This is very stressful and unexciting to me, but I'll do it because I have to. And then the other is start investing in my SEP IRA.
I like it. Short and sweet. Andrew?
Oddly, I don't have any major ones. It's going to be our first full year of what I call the decumulation phase. Actually had to pulled my first withdrawal out of Wealthfront last week. So, you know, it's I think it's just adjusting to that kind of new reality. I have floated the idea of trying to have our expenses equal dividends and income from my coaching business. And I've thought about that kind of potentially being a goal. And last thing is just to try and spend more on memory dividends, really kind of focusing on that concept of spend more on the things that will provide those memory dividends and just less on the stuff. I'm trying to definitely cut back on more and more stuff purchases outside of the bike things.
Cool. I like it.
Can I just briefly point, Andrew, you earned a lot of money in your life and you were very meticulous about saving and investing it. And then you decided to early retire. And now you're like, but I still want to earn enough money to pay for my expenses and not use this big pile of money that I actually saved for retirement. So I'm just saying we're going to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, yeah, it's funny. I still don't use the quote early retirement. I don't use the R word as I'm still earning money, and I hope to have a pretty decent year next year as first full year of coaching and fitting. But yeah, I think I would say we are still a work in progress on the spending side of things. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think you can, I mean, you did retire from corporate America. You're still doing things
Yeah.
and making money, but it's in your entrepreneurial era. Okay. We will wrap this up quickly. I have a lot of goals in 2026. None of them are financial. I just have other things I want to focus on. But I will say that was also before I saw how much money we spent last year. So I do always sort of have I want to spend intentionally, and I want to spend within my means, and I want to stay below, well below what would be a safe withdrawal rate for us in early retirement. And we're doing all those things. We're just we're at a pretty high clip of spending, but we've got 3 teenage girls, and I'm treating them a lot, and myself too. We're all treating everybody, and it shows in our expenses. So,
do you go through these numbers with your girls?
Not at a high level, but we will. Like, I was going to tell them how much we spent at Starbucks last year and at Tea Leaf Creamery, which is one of their favorite places to get like boba tea. And I do want them to know, I do sometimes, but I frequently am like, oh, we really need to pull back in this category. We need to spend less here. We need to just be more thoughtful about, like, I'm all for eating out when it's thoughtful, not when it's because we just haven't planned ahead. I don't know how I ended up on my thoughts on eating out when you asked that question, but
I was just curious because especially like the kids spending category, I don't know if I think it would be funny if you asked your 3 teenage girls, how much money do you think we spent on clothes for you last year? How much money do you think we spent on, I don't know, boba or volleyball or whatever? Like, I just wonder if they have an idea of it.
Yeah, I sometimes will tell Kate like how much I'm spending on clothing. And for her birthday or for Christmas or something, there sometimes is sort of a target budget amount.
Yeah, not to make them feel like guilty or bad or anything. I just wonder what kind of like sense, if you ask them, hey, how much do you think as a family we spent on travel, like, or anything, it just could be interesting.
We do talk about that. It actually would be interesting this year, probably would be the first year that it might be a little more meaningful. We definitely compare costs. Like, we were telling them how much our tickets to Thailand cost. And I was like, we're trying to find some below this amount. And, I was like, that costs as much as your first car. And I make comparative statements because they often don't know what something means. Like, they still don't know what $5,000 is, right? They still haven't quite grasped. They kind of hear it, but they don't really, and they think like, oh, I might make $15 or $20 an hour babysitting, but they're not making the connection of, well, you would need to work, this many hours to make that much money. So I think, yeah, I do think it would be interesting to go through some of this with them. We'll make that a goal.
Well, yeah, to that point, and we talked about this at Camp FI a little bit, but I think would be really interesting is to say this trip cost the equivalent of X hundred number of babysitting hours. Yeah. That would be a language that they could really understand that I think would make them like, whoa. Whereas I agree with Maggie, dollars are a little bit, not that they don't know the value of a dollar, but I think at large numbers that I don't know what their reaction, but if we translate it into hours of labor, that could really be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. And sometimes I will equate things to, that's about a year of college, because I think that's something they can get their head around a little bit, or it's like in a language they're starting to think about. So, but Greg, do you have any, were you about to say some financial? Yeah,
and we can get into it more on the next episode when we dig into food, but it's it's an area that I think has some opportunity. I think we've gotten real loose in the area, and I don't want to.
Let's put a pause on that because I want you to share this in the next episode.
Okay, bye.
I think you're about to say it, so we got to give people something to look forward to. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. We've gone long. Okay, well, we really appreciate you guys listening. I hope you'll tune in for part 2, which is when we are going to do some deep dives into what we're paying for medical insurance, post-retirement, health and fitness, car insurance, homeowners insurance, cell phones, groceries, and eating out. Very exciting stuff. I half joke, but also we actually get a lot of feedback that people really love hearing the like breakdowns of those things. So we're going to do that in part 2, and we appreciate you guys listening. And I think this is a fun episode to share with somebody else because you can send it to a friend or family member and say, hey, like, let's talk about what we spent last year and let's, compare some things. I think that can be a fun thing to do on a Friday night with your friends.
I love it. And
if you want to ever leave us a written review and tell us in your review, you should tell us how much you spent last year. It'd be a fun thing to leave in the review. Tell us if who you closest to, like, did you spend like an Andrew and a Liz, or did you spend like an Erica and a Maggie and Greg? And then also, if you have any thoughts or questions, we always love to hear from you, and you can leave us a voicemail or text us at 404-981-3370 or hit us up on Instagram. Okay, thanks guys.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye.